The brief commentary on Sura al-Furkan. Interpretation of the 32th verse of Sura al-Furkan. It is reported that Ibn Abbas said, "The Jews asked, Abu al-Qasim, why was the Quran not sent down in full at one time, as the Torah was sent down to Musa? Then the verse was sent down." The unbelievers said, "Why was the Quran not sent down to him in its entirety at one time?" We did this to strengthen your heart with them, and explained it in the most beautiful way. This hadith was narrated by Ibn Abu Hatim. He has narrated the words of Ibn Abbas that the polytheists asked him about this. Interpretation of the 68th verse of Surah al-Furqan. It is reported that Abdullah Masud said that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was asked, "What is the most serious sin before Allah?" He replied, "Associating partners with Allah, who created you." He was asked, "And then what?" He replied, "Killing the child of their fear of what he will eat with you." He was asked, "And then what?" He said, "Committing adultery with the neighbor's wife." And in confirmation of the words of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, an ayat was sent down. They do not cry out to other gods besides Allah, they do not kill people contrary to the prohibition of Allah, unless they have the right to do so. And they do not commit adultery. This hadith was narrated by Ahmad, al-Bukhari, Muslim, at-Tirmizi, Abu Dawud and others. Interpretation of the 70th verse of Surah al-Furqan. It is reported that Sa'id Jubair said that Abd Rahman Abzi asked me to ask Ibn Abbas about the meaning of two verses. "Do not kill the soul that Allah has forbidden to kill, unless you have the right to do so, and, if someone kills believer deliberately, then his retribution will be Gehenna, in which he will remain forever." When I asked Ibn Abbas about them, he said, "When the verse from Surah al-Furqan was sent down, the Meccan pagans said, 'We killed those whom Allah forbade to kill, and called along with Allah to other gods, and engaged in debauchery.' And then Allah sent down the verse. This does not apply to those who repented. As for the verse from Surah an-Nisa, then it refers to a person who committed murder, already knowing about Islam and its laws. As a punishment for this, he will remain forever in Gehenna." Then I told Mujahid about this, and he said, "This does not apply to those who regretted what they had done." This hadith was narrated by al-Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud and Ibn Jarir. Interpretation of the 72th verse of Surah al-Furqan. It is reported that Abu Bakr said, once the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, asked, "Shall I tell you about the most serious of sins?" We said, "Of course, O Messenger of Allah." Then he said, "This is the association of partners with Allah, disrespect towards parents." Saying this, the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, lay leaning on his hand. And then he sat down and said, "Verily, this is a false word and a false testimony. This is a false word and a false testimony." And he kept repeating this until I thought, he will never stop. This hadith was narrated by Ahmad, al-Bukhari, Muslim and at-Tirmizi.